Intermittent fasting. You've probably heard of it, possibly even tried it, but are you clear on what it really is, what it isn't, and are you clear on a few of the key benefits that it provides for you? As always, my goal is to give you this information in a clear and relatable way, so that even if you've heard the information before, maybe it seems more approachable this time. Or even if you don't want to try it for yourself, maybe you could frame it a little bit better for someone that you know. Let's go. Welcome and thanks for tuning in. If this is our first time meeting, my name is Marcus Bailey, and my goal is to help as many people as possible not only make the decision to take control of their health and wellness, but also provide tips, resources, and information to make the journey more enjoyable and to help you stick to it long term. One of the best kept, but at the same time, most widely known secrets of long-term health, sustained weight management, and in some cases, improvement of certain health conditions, is intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is also known as time-restricted eating or intermittent energy restriction, maybe a few other variations. But fundamentally, it's the same concept for the average person looking to do it on their own for the purposes of losing weight, getting fit, or becoming more healthy. In this video, I'm going to discuss 3 things that it is, 3 things that it is not, and 3 key benefits that you can enjoy from intermittent fasting. So let's start with what intermittent fasting is. Eating and drinking within a certain window of time. The first and probably most recognizable thing about intermittent fasting is the opening and closing of a window of time where you can consume food and drinks. Why in the world would I intentionally not eat? I thought you were supposed to eat all these small meals throughout the day. I thought breakfast was the most important meal of the day. There are a lot of reasons why you've heard from other people, or maybe you're thinking it yourself, that this seems pretty strange. The basic principle here is setting a time period to take in food and energy, giving your body another period of time to digest and assimilate the food, energy, and nutrients that you just took in. Quick tip here is that digestion does not mean chewing and swallowing. Full digestion takes time and energy for your body to complete. And finally, a period of time for your body to process waste, detoxify, and repair at the cellular level. Like I said, I'll go through some key benefits later in the video, but let me lay out a scenario that will make this a little bit more relatable that we can refer to throughout this video. Think about your job. You work about 8 hours a day, spend some time after work unplugged from the office and spending time with your family or doing recreational activities. Then you take some time to rest, relax, and sleep. This basic cycle not only makes work life more productive, but home life more enjoyable and keeps you mentally grounded as well. So keep that analogy in your mind as we move forward. Flexible to fit your schedule and goals. You're able to choose the window of time that fits your schedule. Work, school, travel, whatever. If you wake up at 8 a.m. and work during the day, choose to open up your eating window at say 11 a.m. and have chosen a 16-8 intermittent fasting plan, then you will eat up to about 7 p.m. that evening. After 7 p.m., you are back to consuming things that your body does not consider energy, like water or black coffee. So depending on your schedule, first shift, second shift, family dinner schedule, or workout times you need to plan around, you can adjust your window according to your calendar. Although you do need to choose a consistent time frame and not a different window each day. So take that into account as you plan that out. We will discuss in detail in other videos about when to eat around a workout schedule to maximize weight loss, muscle growth and repair, and how meal timing and planning influence and are influenced by other factors. The bottom line here is that you have the choice about when to open and close that consumption window. Truly fasting during your fasting window. This is very important to pay attention to because one of the common questions that I hear when it comes to this period of time between your last meal of the day and your first meal of the next day is, what can I consume during this time period? What if I only have a little bite of something? What about artificial sweetener? But the package says it's low on the glycemic index. I didn't eat as much as I usually do yesterday, so if I start early today, doesn't that balance it out? Your body doesn't care what you think. It operates on its own set of natural laws and pre-programmed instructions. Let me say that a different way. Our bodies do not work off of life hacks, shortcuts, and workarounds that we think about or hear on TV. Let me refer back to the work scenario so that I can give you a good frame of reference about how this works. Let's say you've just worked for a full 8-hour shift and you're off at 5. You leave work, go home, and have no plans on picking back up on work stuff until tomorrow morning. You're relaxing, decompressing, enjoying a book, walking in the park, playing with your kids, whatever that thing is that allows you to renew and rejuvenate. All of a sudden, 10 o'clock at night, your boss or a coworker calls and says, "Real quick, I just wanted to remind you that tomorrow afternoon is that big presentation to the board, and I wasn't sure if you remembered to put that slide in that I emailed over to you earlier. Listen, didn't mean to bother you. Hey, see you in the morning. Now, after already having checked out from work, gone into relaxation mode, here comes this. So not only is your relaxation broken because your activity was interrupted, but you might even log back in just to see, did I really put that slide in? Then instead of a peaceful night's sleep, you might be dreaming about work, thinking about that presentation that you've got. This is something that could have easily waited until the next day, but now, since it's come up overnight, you almost feel like you never left work. Now imagine that happens 5 days a week, every month, all year. You're either ready to find a new job or ready to slap the mess out of that coworker. That's exactly how your body feels. Don't promise your body time off from the stress of consuming and processing food, only to interrupt these vital functions with a quick snack or a meal right in the middle of it. A small snack is just like that quick phone call. It may as well have been a full meal because your body's going to go back into work mode. Hopefully that analogy helped to underscore the importance of not cheating yourself during that fasting window, and how you and your body need time and space to rebuild, relax, and be ready for a productive next day. So now quickly, let's cover the 3 things that intermittent fasting is not. It is not a diet plan. There simply is no intermittent fasting diet. There's dieting, there are meal plans, and separate from those, there's an intermittent fasting protocol. This is about when to eat, not what to eat. When paired together, they definitely increase the benefits of each other. But you could very much do intermittent fasting, gain some benefits, and still have a totally reckless diet within a strict eating window. It is not new. At some point in the not so distant past, before we started to see the health statistics that we see today trending up, most people only had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. No big snacking, no late night fast food in restaurants, and certainly not the same access to non-perishable processed foods we have now. If you go even further back, when non-communicable diseases was even less of a problem, you'll find that we ate within an even tighter window of time, when most of what people ate was based off of what they killed themselves, harvested themselves, or had to prepare from its absolute raw form into a meal that same day, and didn't have the luxury of commercial farming or being able to take food out of a wrapper or a box. They tended to eat about 1 sitting or meal per day. My point is, when someone suggests today that you shouldn't eat from the time your eyes open to the time your eyes close, it shouldn't feel like a lifestyle or condition that our bodies are unable or unprepared to thrive in. It is not restricting calories. Limited time does not equal limited calories. Now, of course, there's only so much food that you can scarf down within a limited window of time, but we're not talking about an eating contest here. Naturally, you may decrease your overall calorie intake some because you are eliminating late night or early morning snacking. But overall, this is not, and I repeat, not a lifestyle aimed at eliminating full and complete meals or eliminating calorically and nutritionally dense food. In a sample scenario, if you ate 2,600 calories starting at 7 a.m. and ending at 10 p.m., you simply make an adjustment and just eat those same 2,600 calories between, say, noon and 8. But the difference is you start reaping some of the benefits that we'll talk about next. So now let's get into the benefits. What could you potentially gain from adopting an intermittent fasting or time-restricted eating, or simply having a time to eat and a time to rest type lifestyle? All these benefits will be based on a maximum eating window of 8 hours per day. But depending on your goals and accounting for any current conditions that you may need to consult your physician about, you could shrink it down to 6 hours or less. Fuel efficiency. I know we aren't cars, but I wanted to make this as simple as possible without getting into all the physiological details. So I'll try to tie these 2 things together so it makes sense. Let me know in the comments if this helps make the point more clear or more confusing. All right, stick with me on this. If we think about a hybrid car, we consider those to be fuel efficient. Hybrid electric vehicles are powered by an internal combustion engine or regular motor and an electric motor, which uses energy stored in batteries. So the fuel efficiency comes from being able to switch from one energy source to another in order to keep going. There's no need to stop and continue to fill the gas tank up when there's another form of energy available. So back to the topic at hand, our own bodies. We also have alternative sources of fuel. It's called body fat. It's called adipose tissue. It's called glycogen. It's even called ketones, which is made from fat. But those sources of fuel will not be used if your body has a never-ending supply of energy coming in from food and drink. Let me restate that. Your body will not use any alternative sources of fuel throughout the day. if you're constantly feeding it for 12, 14, 16 hours. Not to mention, we already know what our bodies do with excess fuel. It stores it in the fat batteries that we need to help it get into the habit of tapping into. So, intermittent fasting, or having a small time during the day to fuel, and having a larger time throughout the day to burn that fuel and alternative sources of energy, is a way to make your body efficient and overcome its reliance on operating solely on the food that you take in. Improve insulin sensitivity. Along the same lines of energy management, intermittent fasting has been shown in studies, including ones published by the American Diabetes Society, as well as demonstrated in everyday practice, to increase the level of insulin sensitivity within the cells of your body. An easy breakdown of that kind of goes like this. When you eat food or drink things other than, say, water or black coffee, your body breaks that down and the level of glucose or sugar in your blood goes up. This is supposed to happen because it's your body's version of the dinner bell telling your cells it's time to eat. Next, insulin is secreted from your pancreas like waiters and waitresses, ready to serve up glucose from your blood to your cells. The more hours in a day that you are consuming food and drink, the more hours in a day insulin is circulating through your blood. The more exposure to the hormone insulin that your cells have, the more energy they will get packed with. The more energy they get packed with, the more resistant to taking in energy they become, because they have very little room left, if any at all. At that point, they become resistant to insulin. Or in other words, they begin to ignore the hormonal signal to open the door and let energy in. Then the pancreas starts to increase the level of insulin that it produces. We'll stop there because that's a whole process that we'll cover at many different levels in other videos. But back to the fuel efficiency example. Reducing the amount of time each day your cells have to answer the door to let insulin in, the more receptive over time they become. And because your body will start to not only have to put energy in all the time, but start to ask to take it out, which is done with another hormone that we'll talk about in another video, the level of sensitivity goes up and the level of resistance goes down. Hopefully that was simplified enough to explain how intermittent fasting helps with insulin function, which is also tied to a number of chronic conditions. The last benefit that I will cover is weight loss. I mention it because it's probably the major reason why a lot of people even look into intermittent fasting. I'm talking about it last because it happens largely because of the two other benefits that we just talked about. It happens because of your body's ability to adapt and begin tapping into the stored energy within your body, and your body's gradual increase in insulin sensitivity, which helps so many other functions within your body. And also, most people who make a conscious and deliberate effort to start eating at a certain time and stop eating at a certain time almost always pair that with some sort of a dietary change or improvement. All these benefits together is not only a great way to accelerate weight loss, but help you maintain that ideal weight that you've set for yourself once you get there. So there it is. Intermittent fasting in a way that I hope makes it easier to understand if it was confusing to you before. And hopefully some useful analogies that will help you explain it to other people. Please let me know in the comments what you liked, what you didn't like, and what other benefits of intermittent fasting you'd like to hear about in other videos. Intermittent fasting definitely has more good things associated with it, but I only wanted to cover 3. Again, my goal is to give you practical and straightforward information to empower you to do something great for yourself, and that's take control of your health and well-being. Make sure that you're subscribed and receiving notifications so that you can keep all aspects of your health in focus: meals, movement, and mindset. Thanks for watching.